Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a global artist ambassador for Fenix360, and I'm blessed to be joined today by the singer, songwriter, and producer, Lucy Morningstar. Hey, Lucy, how are you doing?
Hi, Johnny. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you. Looks like a beautiful
So
morning out there where you are, and glad to be with you and sharing some of your music if we can, Lucy. I would love to turn our audience on to your track, Precious Love. Is that cool?
awesome. Let's do it.
Sweet. Okay, everybody, let's tune in now to Lucy Morningstar with Precious Love.
Precious love, heaven's lessons from above. The strength is sent from you. Anything I wanna do, your gift so powerful. It's unconditional. See how pure it is to feel your tenderness. Love will heal us. Love will heal us. Love will heal us eternally. The universe provides. Now your spirit guides the knowledge that you share. Made me know you always care. The sadness that we feel will turn to love and heal. I'm fortunate to know that our love will always grow.
Lucy, sweet. It's great to share your music with everybody. I love the vibe. And really, I'm interested in learning about you now. Can you tell me where are you from and how'd you get involved in becoming a musical artist?
It's an honor to be here on your show, and thank you so much for having me. I am originally from New York State, and I was born and raised in the Bronx in Riverdale, and went to school in Westchester County, where I got to go to a couple different places that inspired me greatly to begin my journey as an artist. I went to an elective high school program for my junior and senior year called Walkabout, which is a program that nurtures the creative path and the passions that we start to have in our adolescence that sometimes we are looking for guidance in order to pursue. And I got a lot of support and encouragement in that program and from the teachers and my peers as well. I got to study at recording studio and record label where I was doing an internship in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I also did a internship at an advertising company, which in some ways both are one side and the other side of the music business, advertising and then the creative side and producing. So it was a really good experience for me.
Oh, Lucy, that's really exceptional. And you're really fortunate that you had such a alternative kind of educational experience out in New York. I love the Walkabout too. It's interesting, but when I was on my travels and met with one of my Australian friends, they kind of taught me that being on Walkabout is kind of an extended vacation in a way. And so it's interesting because you consider even the name of your school is one that is, considering a journey, a walkabout. You know what I mean? It's basically deploying new learning techniques in order to evolve the child into a more dynamic creator. And I find that really inspiring. I think it's really fortunate. It's probably what seeded a lot of your creative sensibilities. And then the advertising part of it, you're right. Marketing and promotion is a huge aspect to promoting yourself as an emerging artist. So that's another kind of learning ground that you were able to glean from. So that's really cool, Lucy. Now listen, coming from New York and the Bronx, I want you to give me I want you to say two things for me. One is I'm walking here, and the other one is forget about it. Can you give me the
I'm walking here.
Yeah, there you go.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Okay, well, thanks for those two. I knew you'd have a couple for me. now, now, listen, I love how your vibe, you know what I mean? You integrated kind of like, the best aspects of, I think, reggae music, and also, some of the roots of rock and roll, and some of these influences that you're doing so well and uniquely in terms of that blend. What kind of artist inspired you, maybe at a time in which you were a teen at Walkabout, or others that may have, you looked at and said, wow, I really love what they do?
As far as artists that influenced me in my early years, I took a strong influence of ska music, which started out with the band Catch 22. And while I was skateboarding at this Friday night session that we would have called Yap, and a friend of mine introduced me to this band Catch 22, and that sparked a lot of excitement for me about different ska bands and punk bands too. I was already really into punk music, so hearing the horns and the upful vibes of that kind of got my motivation going, which I had just kind of started to play like right around that time after I was introduced to that kind of music, or right around when that was. So I remember taking some of the music to my father and being like, hey, can you show me some of these songs on guitar? And then as I got a little bit older, not very much older, but still in my teenage years, I started to appreciate some of the more roots oriented songwriters who are like Ben Harper, and artists also like in the indie rock world. Modest Mouse was a big inspiration to me because I felt that they had a blend of songwriting and dynamic performance style that also kept things exciting and new. And when I went to see Ben Harper, I also was just moved by how incredible his energy was on stage, and the way he able to perform so much of the music with the same kind of delivery as his recordings. And that struck me as a pretty massive talent, because a lot of the concerts that I've gone to or seen him maybe before that time, I'd noticed there was a variance between the way an artist sounds on their record and the vibe that they bring on stage, or the kind of way they play the songs. And I like that too. It's sometimes, is really nice to hear a different version, but it's also cool when an artist is true to the material in such a way that they're like channeling it every time.
Well, listen, that's beautiful, and I hear you. And obviously, Ben was a huge influence. But you mentioned ska music. I mean, I was always really moved by the Specials, and in that ska realm. And then even like the punk. I just recently saw Black Flag perform again. You know what I mean? And they were a big inspiring band for me in kind of the punk
Yeah.
realm. So I love these, different genres and kind of the Meritage blend that you've developed for your music. You've shared stage with some really dynamic, powerful artists, and especially in the islands, So I'd love to hear about some of the work that you've done in the islands. I know you've been to Hawaii and over in Jamaica. Tell me about some of that experience.
Thank you. I have definitely enjoyed my travels, and that's been also a really positive experience for me in terms of evolving as a writer and producer.
Mhm.
While I was in Hawaii, I had formed the Lucy Morningstar band, and the three members are still in Maui who I have performed with when I'm in Hawaii. Joey Reyes, the bass player, Roy Mata, my guitarist, and Brett Swearingen on drums. Those are the original members of the band that actually really had a lot to do with my ability to bring my island music vision to life in the Road to Hana EP that I produced here in California with John Avila. Um, and I'd say John has been a huge part of the bridging of me with the ideas that I've had and the chance to articulate them through my sound. He has been just an amazing mentor and person who has played bass on a lot of the music that I have recently released and am about to release.
Uh-huh.
And he also produced and edited with me and mixed the Road to Hana as well as the Michigan EP that we are about to release. Um, I think because of that CD, the Road to Hana CD, which features songs of mine like Honolulu, Down to the Music, and Mahalo, that also kind of reach some people in Jamaica in a way because there's a certain kind of synergy about the island vibe. It's not the same type of music that comes from both places, I would say. There's definitely a sound that's signature to Hawaii and a sound that's signature to Jamaica. But me having come from a melting pot in New York and the Bronx and where I was raised, where a lot of different musical influences and world music genres were brought to my attention at a young age, I think the uh, magnetic quality island music and how the bass and the feeling of it makes you want to move, that had a impact on me in the way that I wanted to create. So after a period of time that I had worked on music that was a little bit slower tempo and more like ballad or um, maybe folk rock that was a little bit slower, I felt like the influence of reggae that had been all around me and people that I had performed with who I loved kind of, it took its own guidance and formed within me something that I didn't know was in me to create when I went to Jamaica for the first time. So last year in October, I had gone to Anchor Studios in Kingston to work with Delroy Pottinger, and the band Earthcry came in. Three of the members of Earthcry came to work with me, and also Carlton Jarrett, a different bass player, and a vocalist named Aisha Bell. And we were able to collaborate on new songs that I wrote while in Jamaica that brought like a new feeling and life to what music I'd been developing. And super excited to release the other two songs, which are called Victories and The Plan. And Delroy, the producer who worked with me on this music, he has produced for a number of my favorite artists like Toots and the Maytals and Michael Franti, and he's worked with Sly and Robbie and some of the biggest reggae artists in the world. I was very lucky to get to have the time that I did with him and work at Anchor Studios, a place that really nurtures artists to fulfill what they come to do. and you could sense that, like, from the second that I stepped foot on the property there at their studios. They're a very embracing and accommodating place. So, and it's no wonder that some of the biggest artists go there to work and record.
That's cool, Lucy. It's like, that's sacred ground as far as that studio kind of location. And it's interesting also, your road to Hana, that is a beautiful path. There's for people who have never experienced that or are aware of the road to Hana, I can understand why it inspired you so well, because it is a precarious, twisting, turning, amazing waterfalls. You're right on the precipice as you make that exodus, and it is almost like it makes you grip to life in a way that is you know so kind of inspiring. There's so much beauty, and it's coming through in your music, and also your honoring of those in the islands. There's something really beautiful about the aloha spirit and one love spirit. When integrated, they're really one and the same frequency, although there's just a different kind of twist or beautiful aspect of their originality, but I think they're very common and kindred. And so these are also themes that I also embrace. And my background is also from another island, Ireland, and so I feel also that there's a certain love and joy, and even through humor, these are all things that connect us. So I appreciate the way you're doing it, and also the new releases that you're developing. And so, speaking of which, with what you're working on now, and also how people can connect with you in the social realms, tell me a little bit about, what you're working on, what's coming up, and how we can connect with you.
Thank you. I am going to be playing a release party for the new EP that is coming out on 11/11 in Ventura, California, with my full band. It'll be at the Garage Bar, and I also am going to be performing in San Diego next month. So I will continue my live performances as the music hits the airwaves. And in the meantime, if anyone is able to connect with me, the best ways to do so are, definitely Spotify, YouTube, social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Bandcamp is probably, a good place to both stream and download, and also buy merch. I have merch that's on my website, LucyMorningstar.com, and I also have merch that's on the Bandcamp page. The next thing I would like to do, I guess, would be maybe to put some of my more short videos onto TikTok, because I keep being suggested to do so, and I had started one initially, like a while ago, like a couple of years ago. Someone I was working with made one for me, but I feel like it would be fun to add TikTok into the mix.
Yes, I think that's wise. Certainly the fastest growing social platform, and also we're also very happy you're going to be on the Fenix360 app, and that fans can connect with you there as well, Lucy. You know what I mean? And so
I'm excited to be on Fenix360. This is going to be a step into a new horizon, and I can sense that what you're doing is massive for the community and for reggae artists and world music. It's going to help people to connect with it and to find a place that they feel the right energy is all being brought to. And that's what it's about, is like the type of energy we want to connect with. That's what makes us kind of choose one platform or one app. It's the way that strikes us. So I'm stoked to check out more of the other music that you are also sharing on the app, because I know you've done quite a few interviews at this point.
yeah, thanks, Lucy. Yeah, aggregating the artists and also the fans in a place where they can dynamically connect, discover, and actually even participate. So we're really enthusiastic about our growth. We're an emerging artist as well, and so that's why we feel a kindred spirit to all artists that have been utilizing the app and loading it with music, and also for merch that you can sell, and we want to definitely drive viewers to your website. Now, tell me, Lucy, I love your artist name, Lucy Morningstar. Can you tell me how you decided upon that? Tell a little bit about the Morningstar vibe.
Thank you. Well, my last name means morning star, and when I was younger and just went by Lucid Lion, which was my artist name prior to now, a friend of mine said to me, "Why don't you call yourself Lucy Morningstar?" So I kind of just took it with, yeah, that sounds great, and I just went with it. Like, it was just a suggestion that I took fondly to, and was like, all right.
Listen, Lucy, it's so natural and it so fits your vibe. I love it. You know what I mean? And definitely the Morningstar is something that we want to follow. So at any rate, I really appreciate you. This has been a real blessing and education for me. And I appreciate you. And I'm so lucky because I'm in Ventura. So I'm going to see you this coming Friday night. And I cannot wait. So listen, thanks.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Okay, everybody. Tune into the social media links you find below for Lucy Morningstar and look for her rise on Fenix360. And blessings and respect, Lucy. Carry on. I really appreciate you.
Blessings and love to you, Johnny. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and looking forward to joining Fenix360. Looking forward to joining one more time. I'm looking forward to joining Fenix360. Yay.
Yeah, we are too. Thank you, my dear. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you.
You got respect.
What? We got a rainbow. No way. Is that real? Oh, it's a double rainbow. Oh my gosh. What? Oh, this reminds me of Bear. God rest his soul. Oh. Inside of a bubble, walking wise with my eyes. I have treaded, but not trampled on. I am led, and now I'm lighter. I'm lighter. I don't need to be of your breed. I'm the one you breathe. You want to soon see. Walking inside of a bubble, walking wise with my eyes, and it's a well. I don't need to be of your breed. I'm so busy.
Let's have a good time. We could rise and shine. The morning's looking nice. It's our place and time. She said, let's go to your house. We can hang out.